Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Co-Founded Podcast. My name is Ethan, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues, as always. Matt, we'll start with you today. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm a little bit tired, a little under the weather, but I am ready to rock.
I hate that for a mid-June under the weather. Summer is about 5 days away. So, but that's post-COVID, you just get sick whenever you want these days.
Yep, it's true.
I swear
Especially with
pre-COVID, no
toddlers.
one got sick in the summer. Well, yeah, actually, that's actually probably why we're sick all the time. It actually has nothing to do with COVID. I'm making that up. It's the fact that toddlers exist. It just
Yeah.
get us sick constantly.
Yeah.
So, yep, adds up to me. Josh, how are you doing?
Doing great. It's ideal sports season. We got World Cup. NBA just ended. We got F1. Sports is alive and well. It's always a
It's
good
really
time
nice
of the
having the
year.
World Cup because usually this is kind of a, basically baseball is getting you through the summer kind of situation now with the NHL wrapping up and the NBA wrapping up and whatnot. But I feel like with the World Cup, it's like new life for like the next 150 days, given the expanded World Cup. I think it'll be done by the end of the year. But that just means more soccer. Which is
It's
pretty
just gonna be
sick.
4 years now. 4 years.
I
of
mean, there's
World
like an
Cup until
entire
the next
week
one.
between these U.S. games. Like, it's crazy when you think about that.
They
Like,
just keep
resting
adding
is not even a
games
thing.
until it's just
they
the
should.
world.
Yeah. Just every
Yeah,
country gets a
yeah.
shot.
I love it.
Yeah, so far the World Cup has been delightful in the United States. It's been sick. So,
Hype through the roof.
always loving that. All right, well, let's get right into it. First item on the agenda today, Fin.ai is sold to Salesforce. Josh, why don't you take us away on this one?
Yeah, great exit. It is at 3.6 billion. Their last round was at 1.25 billion. For those who don't know, was Intercom before, help desk software, and then they did this hard pivot into AI support, and seems like it paid off. So kind of the first example of a tech company that makes a real hard pivot into being an AI company, already valued at $1 billion, and making that the entire rebrand is pretty risky, but seems like it worked. And I think it's a natural fitting place for them because Salesforce seems to be just building more of a all-encompassing business suite at this point. But quite interesting because like when they made the pivot to be Fin, it was like, is this gonna work? And then
it's funny because we legitimately talked about this on a previous episode, and we all shared our thoughts. And then when that was pretty quick, moves as quickly as AI moves these days. So clearly either something paid off there, or
It's the
maybe it's all
.ai
connected somehow,
domain,
but-
man. That's all you got to do. You just got to
Gosh, it's that easy.
Triples
choose
your
a
value.
short word, triple your value, .ai. Yeah, I remember. I love coming back to this because, we talked about it from primarily a brand standpoint where, like, everyone knows what Intercom is. So why did they do this? Well, now it's pretty clear. I think they knew that they were locked in to get sold to Salesforce.
Or was it
so-
it was a no risk proposition because
Literally
even if it
no
works
risk.
out, we got to sail
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's all,
And throwing the Fin AI support agent into Salesforce products is going to be brilliant. Slack being the hub throughout. It's just, it makes sense. So now I'm like, oh, okay. Like that was not risky move at all. It was very calculated.
I think relatively obvious there. Yeah.
I do think I was completely wrong because I think my perspective was like, oh, managing two brands that never worked before. But maybe that's going to shift because that didn't work in the previous wave of SaaS where like it was a lot of effort to maintain products, but maybe if you're doing a lot of agentic coding and you build a new product and you want to maintain the old one for a while, it's actually not that big of a deal. I wonder if this will be the start of more legacy SaaS companies just launching completely new brands instead of trying to slowly morph their old ones over.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. And it's very big of you, Josh, to admit defeat there. So I just want to personally emphasize that, it's okay to be wrong. To the
Takes
people
a
out.
Big man to say wrong. Yeah, and I was wrong too. I was trashing that.
I think we were all wrong. Yeah, I think we were. And hey, we could. These two could be unrelated. I think we could still trash the rebrand and still,
I think
we definitely lose at the end of the day. But it's still a very interesting decision.
Yeah.
If this wasn't impending, I think it would have been a nice space to watch. But apparently, like this was, has been done for a minute. So the risk and the downside wasn't really there. But obviously this could be a unique situation, but I think you make a good point.
Yeah. My closing thought on the intercom thing is like brand wise, still a question mark. I don't know. Now they're part of Salesforce, doesn't matter. But very just I think when we were talking about it before, and Josh, we've had conversations about it before, it's like this is a very great application for AI is in the support world, and just automating all that. It's just like people have questions and they need answers fast. And like the only issue I saw with their product is cost. It's just very expensive to give customers that answer at a small scale when you're small. And so, yeah, I'll be interested to see now what happens with their pricing model, if that changes at all, how they operate this, if it's just integrated into Slack subscriptions or how they decide to run this. But support is just a very fascinating, like very easy application to me of AI. That's kind of like a no-brainer. It's just like, yeah, for sure.
Well, and honestly, this pivot, part of this acquisition or sale or whatever, it might have been kind of like predicated on making sure there's some hard pivot, and maybe it's Salesforce trying to peek into this space a little bit. And like, that's actually what kind of made it valuable. And so there's kind of a call to Intercom was like, hey, you guys gotta do some stuff to kind of get into that world, before we scoop you up.
There's a decent amount of like Slack help desk softwares. And so I wonder, honestly, how they feel right now. Cause it's like,
that's actually
bought a help desk software that's going to be the same company. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in that space. But again, cost I see is the biggest issue for them.
Yeah. Well, watch this space. We'll continue to monitor as we always do across these things. We'll move right along. Fable 5, blocked by the government. I had a note in the last agenda that we didn't quite get to, which was introducing Fable, which there's something, I don't want to say stinky, because I don't think stinky is really the right. There's something just interesting going on. Anthropic being like, oh, we have this Mythos class model. They put another name on it. This Mythos model, but now they're calling Fable like a Mythos class model that we've made safe. This whole idea of safe for general use, like almost like pre-scaring, like off the top. It just kind of seems like an odd way to position it, or an odd way to be like, man, you just have no idea how powerful this thing is. And maybe I'm a dingus, like maybe it is unbelievably powerful or whatever, but I also think there's this like pre-gatekeeping, pre-savior complex going on, like from like only big AI can save you from big AI kind of situation. Anyways, something just doesn't like click for me. And again, maybe I'm just a dingus when it comes to all this stuff, but like the framing and phrasing of all this seems very interesting, intriguing, odd, whatever other words I could label on it. And then of course it gets blocked by the government, which is also something I need to dig into, of just what's going on in the regulatory world there. Like government blocking this and that, was it blocked for government use? Is it, so on and so forth? Like, that's interesting. But all that being said, Fable 5 blocked by the government. Thoughts?
Well, there's a line that stood out to me from a Sam Altman interview, because you guys remember Sam Altman, somebody attacked his house, like they shot.
I do recall that, yeah.
And sometime after that, he had this line in an interview where he was like, I actually think that the way Anthropic is doing marketing is dangerous. Kind of similar in a way to like how like other people have talked about, like when dangerous incidents happen, you're like, well, look at what the other side is saying. Like they're literally saying that OpenAI is going to destroy the world. And there are people who maybe they're already like a little bit mentally unwell who believe that. And I think even at a more general level, like we've definitely seen this with our audience of small business owners with Interact, where people are just like absolutely petrified. And I do kind of agree that like the way Anthropic talks about AI is not good for like society. Like to just go out and say like, this is dangerous, it's going to destroy half the jobs, it might create bugs that destroy the fabric of the world. And then it's clearly just marketing. Like it is, it's just fear mongering, because then what happens? All the attention goes to Anthropic, and it feels very intentional at this point because they've been doing it for years. And it's working.
It's over and over. Yeah. And I know Anthropic CEO has kind of walked back quite a few of the comments that he's made about, like half of jobs disappearing and things like that. Not only because they're just not true, just objectively, like this is not how the world works, but also just because like it is a dangerous precedent to like set for yourself and just for your product. And so I always thought comments like that are just generally just kind of like interesting. Um, but like even like I had a note written somewhere like Microsoft's AI chief was saying that like all white collar work will be automated in like a year and a half or something like that. And it's like that's just not true. Like that's just not gonna happen. It's not how the world works. Like, will parts get automated and parts won't? Like, sure, like, implementation like takes forever on this stuff. It's just like so odd to make sweeping statements like that to essentially try to make what you're building more valuable. And I get the play because I guess that it does, but it's just like it doesn't strike me as like there's nothing genuine about it. It just doesn't strike me in at a proper light, and it kind of makes me just kind of squint my eyes a little bit and be like, yeah, not sure I really trust whatever you're up to. When it feels like with kind of a new companies on the frontier here, it kind of feels like uh, there's you could do things a little differently. You could do things, maybe not as some companies have ventured to do in the past, and doesn't seem like it'll go down that avenue, which I think is troubling, to say the
It's
least.
just a
But
classic sales tactic. Like, oh, in 6 months, if you're not doing this thing, then you're going to disappear. Like, your company is going to go bankrupt. We see this all the time. Like, I see this all the time on social media. Social media marketing is just like, you need to learn Instagram marketing because look at the growth of Instagram. In 6 months, no one's going to go to Google to find information. It's all going to be on Instagram. Who is saying that? People selling Instagram marketing courses. And this is the same thing. Like, who's saying that white collar work's going to go away? The people who sell you the AI models. They've just
that take away white collar
adapted.
work. Yeah.
They've just adapted like the shady sales tactics of,
You
the
create the
dark side of the
problem
internet.
and then you create the solution at the same time. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
shout the problem and then create the solution. It's like the same thing. Yeah, I think when I first heard that they were releasing Fable, to me, it kind of came out of nowhere. It came really, really, really quick. And I think it was just very strange because all the narrative around Mythos was, this isn't ready. We're far from ready to be able to release this. We're going to release it to governments. They start releasing it to governments and researchers and like security researchers and all these like people to do it in like a quote unquote safe way. And then out of nowhere, it seemed like it was just like, oh, by the way, here's a Mythos level model with some restraints or harnesses to make it like safe, like you were saying. And I think the biggest thing that came to mind was like, how like how can you have like that same amount of Mythos level power that you were talking about for so long that can like crumble national governments and stuff like that, and like all this stuff, like, and then just be like, oh wait, no, actually it's safe, and then they like completely change the name to get away from like everyone like the narrative about Mythos being like, really, really dangerous and stuff like that. So it just like came out of nowhere. It was very, very interesting. It was very expensive. Josh, I would love to hear your thoughts. I never actually got a chance to use it. I didn't really have anything to use it on or play around with. But I know you did, so I'm interested to hear just how it performed as a model. I think you were doing some coding with it or web dev projects and Claude Code with it. So curious to hear your thoughts about how it actually performed. But yeah, it was very, very interesting. And then to kind of, I mean, we haven't even talked about like the government actually coming in and like blocking something like that is pretty wild to me. It's kind of like, oh, whoa, like either they saw something or like they saw a threat of something or people started sharing what the model was capable of. So obviously they didn't really do what they said they were going to do. Or the government just was freaked out by something like and stopped. But I'm curious what it's capable of that like other models aren't. Yeah, there's just
The
a
only
lot of unknowns, really. I
The
wasn't
only
really sure.
difference that I noticed was that the capability is the same from what I saw as Opus 4.8. The only difference is that the the Fable one had like a PM layered on top of it that kind of like abstracted out of like, oh, here's the tasks. I'm gonna have this, 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 this. They're gonna run in conjunction.
Orchestrator, yeah.
There's less of that stopping and asking you for input, which I guess I could see how that's maybe scary, but it also does kind of add to the lore of what we're talking about here, which is like, honestly, this all just feels like kind of shady marketing, where it's like making it out to be this terrible, scary thing because that helps to get distribution, when in reality it's just they fixed a problem that was like a huge problem with AI before, which was you constantly had to be in like, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, and it stopped every 5 seconds, so
Yeah.
it just stopped less often.
The other tactic I didn't love was that it was only going to be available for like 2 weeks, and then they were going to take it off all available Claude like models and only do it through enterprise API subscriptions, the only way you could get access to it. So it was like very interesting. Like, I don't know what they were. It does almost seem like this is just the new commercials are just playing with people and giving them access stuff, taking it away, saying the government's like, I don't know what's going on.
It's just a bummer because Claude is really good. It's a really good product. Like, it is great for developing stuff, for building apps, like for building stuff on the internet. And I'm just like, can you kind of just calm down with this stuff? Like, just say it's a great tool. Don't be a destroyer of worlds over here. We don't need that.
That's the positioning that I'm not. You have such an unbelievably fantastic product. Like, why do we have to go full scorched everything on it, of just like, why are we already going that far? Like, we're already pulling that part of the playbook. What doesn't seem like you would need to. Just like focus on what's working so well right now. Not that like this might break the entire world, but we're gonna not let it, like, it's just I just don't quite understand that sentiment. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think you kind of summarized it well, where it's like, it's starting to feel like all some sort of weird marketing tactic to keep themselves in the rotation and in the news. And now you got the government involved. And so that's just going to be an interesting conversation going forward of, what heavy executive branch, intervention looks like amongst all of these models, and, which companies are, I don't know, talking to the government and which ones are. Cause I think it was Amazon, like, research or something that like brought it up, like this very niche thing to like, so the whole thing is kind of weird, um so, but the problem is, like, if you want to say AI equals trust, or if you're trying to build any sort of trust, it's like little weird instances like this are not helping your cause at all. So interesting stuff. All right, moving along. Product. So I wrote this one down because I thought this was just this actually kind of tails a little bit off of just lack of trust with AI and things like that too. So this is loosely related to what we were just talking about, but products with AI in the foreground versus AI in the background, and what is kind of the angle or future going forward. And I wrote that statement kind of like, obviously a lot of products is like, your AI powered this, or, we use AI for that. Are we going to see a crop of products that are very deeply ingrained with AI, but aren't really telling you about it, or are just like, maybe it's obvious to a technical person, it's like, okay, yeah, this is AI generating this or that, but to kind of capture that larger audience that is either terrified of AI or has this really negative outlook towards AI, and doesn't like the fact that it's seeping into every single thing that they do, even if it's like fake AI, it's just algorithms that they call AI now or whatever. I'd be curious your guys' thoughts of AI powered things where like the marketing and stuff like that just doesn't really, like, it's not at the forefront, which obviously a lot of these companies right now are, because you have this big hype wave, but more of that hidden aspect, and, not to scare people away. Maybe the way to summarize it. But I'd be curious your guys' thoughts on
I think
that sentiment.
I think not anytime soon. I think money talks. And like we just talked about, what's in the zeitgeist right now and what's in the news and everything is AI, AI, AI. Like we just saw with also the Fin.ai acquisition, us thinking like, wow, the hard brand pivot into AI was probably about that and getting more AI into products. So like, it's so outward facing right now that like if you're trying to get money or raise money or keep your board happy, they want to know what AI is. Like they don't care what's going on in the background. Like it's about how you're marketing it and positioning it. And so like even if you did build like the sickest thing that did all this crazy analysis on the back end powered by AI, but you didn't talk about in the front, like they're not going to care what your algorithms are, like what you're using to power it, in my opinion. Like I think they're following the money right now, and right now it is with AI. I do think we'll reach a point, like a pivotal point, where everyone will be so exhausted by seeing AI around, and that will dry up, and then it will become more of a passive thing, kind of that like people, the assumption is like in a few years, the assumption will be anytime you say algorithm or anytime you say software, or anytime you say that, there is AI behind it. Like,
well, that's almost why.
Works,
that's almost my like point two is like at some point we stopped saying the word algorithm, but like proprietary algorithm was like a big buzzword. Like back when we were starting to do stuff in college, right? Like it was like,
because
oh, our algorithm is different.
And social,
100%. And it was mentioned a lot of like, well, we have this unique proprietary algorithm that only we know about and that we built, and that's what powers our product. So, and then obviously all that language disappeared, / just got replaced by using AI. So I wonder in a few years to that point if you just start seeing it as like, well, it's not the big fancy word anymore. It's just the assumed word, similar to algorithm, where I think this is a little different than algorithm because AI is more of an entity than an algorithm is, but it's still, it's interesting if it'll fade away at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that we've talked about this before, but in terms of the approach to business, the way that I am seeing all this is like, yes, there will be the Fin.ai's that get all the headlines, and that's the 1%, not even 1%. That's like the 0.01% that hits it out of the park, that hits the home run and absolutely cashes in on this moment. Chasing that is kind of, to me, like betting. It's like sports betting. It's like, yeah, you could get a huge payout, but most likely you're going to get nothing and you're just going to lose money. And then there are a ton of opportunities right now for like singles and doubles where you do just use AI to like build products that used to be hard to build that are not going to have huge markets, but now you can build it very quickly, and nobody's looked at that space in 10 years. So just go and update stuff that hasn't been updated. You can make really solid money, or build against a bigger TAM and use what AI allows to make a better version of existing products. I think there's so many opportunities right now that are just not being touched because they're not going to get those big flashy headline exits, and everybody wants to chase that because that's obviously what is being lauded. But it does seem like there's so much opportunity to build like AI in the background apps or products that do work better than the previous versions and will get users, but it's not cool. It's not the one that's getting the huge exit. So it's not going to get that much attention.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I wonder if we'll see a little, just like quiet in the background. Like, I built this tool that hasn't been touched for 10 years just with AI. So it's almost like with AI, but not as AI in the forefront or something like that. But I certainly think there's a space for that. It'll just be interesting to see who can. All right, well, moving on. Cursor to SpaceX. Who wants to talk about this one?
Breaking news. Where's the siren?
Oh, gosh, dang it. It's too hard. But speaking of the ones that get the headlines, Cursor, like, I do think that these outliers are just like poisoning the well, because it's like, okay, the average salary at Cursor is $800K or something like that, and that's all anybody hears. But there's only one Cursor, and clearly AI has taken the cake in terms of what do they call that? Like the first app on the App Store that made it blow up. Like coding is that for AI. Like coding is the first use case that really works as getting all this attention for good reason. It's incredible. I mean, it is like completely changes the game. I can build stuff now that I never could have done before, or I maybe could have done some small app if I spent 6 months. Now that can be done in 2 days. So that is very cool and very awesome. There's a lot of opportunity that can be unlocked there, but there's not a lot of cursors out there. And I think that this one is a bit of an anomaly. And you look at the impact on SpaceX's stock, it went up like 14%. It was at one point today the 4th most valuable company in the world, above companies like Amazon. And you're just like, what are we doing here,
like,
guys?
Well, literally, what are we
happening?
doing? Like,
what's happening where it's $60 billion? And the fact that people say that without like freaking out is insane. Like that just tells you about what we're like. Money.
That's the summary of the day and age we're in. Goodness gracious.
Well, they spent $60 billion and it added $300 billion at one point today to SpaceX's market cap.
Yeah, so it's just like bumping up the valuation just to buy everything with a fake valuation. Like, it's like creating value out of thin air. It's like
that's so funny.
Gotta hand it to Elon though. Speaking of,
I know this playbook marketing here is crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah. And they've just been making pretty good moves all around. Like initially it was like the partnership with Cursor, because I really need to do background research on like how SpaceX got a hold of so much compute power. Like, honestly, like I just don't know like how they did that so early, but they did. Yeah. And then Cursor, they had that deal with Cursor to where Cursor was going to use some of their compute. So it's just like, it was kind of like teasing it for a while, and then it's like actually happening. But they're doing good stuff over there. Like they're making the right moves, it seems like, for the moment, making the right partnerships with the right people. I know they're sharing but they basically like hoarded all this computing power. And now they're like getting in partnerships with companies to use it and stuff. It's very fascinating. I don't know. Someone was on the ball with that stuff. And
that
really
was Elon. Elon built the gigawatt factories, which it seems like that's like the thing that he's the best at, is just building huge capacity. Like that's what he did with Tesla. Built huge capacity to just pump out cars. Now he's doing the same thing with compute power, and then he's going to do the same thing with space shuttles. It's just like scale the living daylights out of things that people want. And because I mean, like the XAI model, LLM, doesn't seem like it has that much use, but they have so much compute capacity that they've made themselves a player. And that, I don't know how he knew that, or like maybe it was because of his experience with Tesla. He's like, oh, I see what the problem is going to be here. Like everybody's going to run out of capacity, just like we did when we were building Tesla. Maybe that's what it was, but that was probably, in my opinion, the smartest move out of this entire AI thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's an all stock transaction, it looks like.
All stock,
which is, again,
free. Because the stock went up by so much that literally like, they got it for free.
It's pretty incredible.
I mean, that is just, I don't know, that's just wild. Just again, don't know if stinky is the right word again, but it's just like something's not. 2 + 2 isn't adding up here.
It just doesn't feel sustainable. It really doesn't feel sustainable. Feels like these values, like they're not making that much money. Like I don't know what's going on, but like it's the multipliers on these things are just so insane,
so
that like
outrageous.
I must not know the value of space, because like the value of space must be like in the trillions.
Space is infinite, Matt. So
I know
the value is infinite, so you can't even count. So let's first off, let's talk about that.
I just don't have like a grasp on the scale of like all that stuff, because it's just like these values that are being thrown around, and like just 60 billion on Cursor.
Wait, did you not see their presentations? There's one where they're talking about harnessing the power of the universe. How much do you think that's worth?
Yeah, Matt, you want to put a number on that, dude?
Come on. What's the entire energy production of the solar system?
That's like the whole thing. It's like, if we can harness 1/1,000,000th of the energy of the sun, we could power the world for like 1,000,000 years. And you're like, yeah, but that's impossible.
No. That was only step 2 of the presentation. Step 3 was the whole like
Oh, so that was
solar
really
system.
mentioned. Oh,
Yeah.
harnessing the power of the sun was
Yeah,
mentioned?
harnessing
Oh
the
my
power of the
gosh.
sun is only step 2. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
Step 2. I didn't realize.
Am I
Gosh, I didn't even
crazy?
realize that was mentioned.
Am I crazy for thinking that it's actually going to happen though?
Harnessing the power of the universe?
I don't know,
The
man. I
sun?
think it could happen. Yeah, I think.
I mean, dude, hippies have been trying to do that since like
Do you
the 60s.
want to volunteer to go
So-
out there and figure it out?
Yeah, you want to
now's
go
the
jump
time.
into the
If
universe?
there's any time, I think it's now, dude.
Brother, we
Anything's
just gotta
possible.
harness the power of the universe.
You gotta harness mythos,
mean-
then harness the universe. It's easy, dude.
I mean, this is a great day for all the like basic girls out there that have been trying to harness the power of the universe to manifest in their lives for years at this point. So yeah, look who's laughing now. It's us.
Shout out.
Us dingus.
Shout
Speaking of harnessing the power of universes, my favorite implication of this, because I saw a great tweet of just like, what is the Bay Area real estate implications? We talked about this briefly, Matt, about the Manhattan Beach real estate implications with the SpaceX going public,
Yes.
because everyone in Hawthorne is going to go buy a real nice house, all those new minted multimillionaires. So now you got this interesting one, really for a lot of this AI stuff, not just Cursor, but Bay Area real estate is back. We're back. It was, 2020 to 2022 was horrendous, and now we're absolutely ripping back. And I actually think it's some kind of silly, because I don't know anything about real estate, but I think there's some very fun conversations that to have over the next couple of years, just watching the real estate market and just see what happens in some of these neighborhoods that are highly sought after in San Francisco and beyond. In these tech areas,
I think it's gonna be a crisis because, like I just said, the values that are being thrown out there, right?
are outrageous. Yeah.
They might not be meeting that with like profitability or revenue or whatever you want to call it, but there are people, like individuals, are getting personally wealthy now, and so they have the money now. So then the cost of things are going to, increase, especially real estate. And it's just like, man, dude, like I said, this stuff does not feel sustainable. Like, I don't know the definition of a bubble, but it feels like a bubble, boys. It doesn't feel like this can go on forever.
If it's any indication, at the farmers market in San Francisco Embarcadero, there was a booth that was signups for interior remodeling. So
oh boy, that's a bad indication.
It tells you an indicator of how many people are buying homes.
Oh yeah,
I'm here for some fruit and to redesign my entire house.
$85,000 bathroom renovation.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Man, that's such a good anecdotal indicator.
That's brilliant
of what's going on at the local farmers market. Well, shout out to Santa Monica's farmers market for not stooping so low that people would have interior design.
We're not there yet.
So maybe we need to have that conversation of why is there even a booth for that, the farmers market. So
if it tells you
that's a shame in its own right.
Anything more about the hype, there was no one in the booth, and people were walking up and filling out the sign-up sheet anyways.
Was it an AI form?
No, it was a paper form, but maybe it was AI.
No, it was
automatically
the booth.
uploaded to the cloud.
Oh boy, oh gosh. What's the world?
I love that.
All right, well, that's going to be our new thing, is to find really fun anecdotal stuff like that, especially you, Josh, being back in the Bay Area. You gotta find some really fun anecdotal indicators for us.
So we'll keep an eye on the space industry down here. We got aerospace covered.
We will, because gosh, we have like all of it.
We're the
covered
aerospace
here.
corridor, and you got tech covered.
Yeah, holy smokes! I saw a great map the other day. I didn't realize how extensive it was. I knew quite a few of the companies on it, but man, it's more than I even thought. And I work right in the middle of it. So I'm very well aware of all the companies that surround, the office building here, but
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yes. It's very cool.
I just hope my local brewery that very, very often hosts SpaceX employees doesn't make their prices go way up, because their typical clientele is now much richer than they were last week. So I would hate to see that.
Oh, no.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a SpaceX employee just outright bought that place. So we got to watch out for that too.
Got to watch out for that.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, those are some new things to worry about. Anyways, too much money's getting tossed around these days. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Hopefully it ends up in some good hands and people do some good stuff with it.
I love the hope. I love that hope angle.
Yeah, it's a rough hope angle, but it's similar to my hope in the Padres, So I know it's not really real. I know whatever I'm saying won't actually happen, but that's life. We got to build character somehow. Anyways, Josh, you had a good anecdote here. How to get rich in American history. Just get skilled. Don't chase hype money. Speaking of hype money, which all we talked about for the last 5 or 10 minutes, dig into this one for us.
I gotta shout this book out because I think the guy is Joseph Moore. That's the name of the book, How to Get Rich in American History. And it's so
Shout out.
timely because his whole thing is that he is just looking at across the last 300 years, how do you actually get rich? And it's not chasing every trend. His whole thesis is like, pick a skill, practice that skill, get good at that skill, figure out how that skill applies to like whatever the hype is of the day. Don't try to like go in 1,000 different directions and chase every single bubble. And it just reads like, I don't know, some sort of prophet or something in this AI era that we're in, where I'm just like, finally somebody who sounds rational. And he's really cool because he has like barely any followers. I heard about him on Salary Transparent Street. Shout out Salary Transparent Street.
Shout out.
For finding this guy, because it's an incredible book. He's been a professor for like 30 years or something, so he's very credible. I thought it was so refreshing as an antidote to like everybody just hearing about how SpaceX employees got $8 million 12 months into their tenure, to hear a guy just be like, hey, best way to actually build wealth over time, get really good at a skill, just practice it a lot. Sometimes it will make you a lot of money when it's in vogue. Sometimes it will make you less money. I really like the message of the book.
Begs the question. Let's get a little personal. What's your skill?
It is, yeah. I was thinking about that, especially with if we can jump ahead to our last agenda item. Yeah, it is our AI mini apps that we're working on. I genuinely think that is my skill, like creating content that takes all the stuff that I read, because I read like, I don't know, 50-ish books a year, and then like,
goodness gracious, are you serious? I wish I was that well read. My goal this year is 4. And I might be off track. So
you're supposed to have
really got to work.
Wait, are we supposed to have a goal for how many books we're supposed to read?
50. You just toss a couple my way. I'll take a couple from you. I'm just trying to do one a quarter.
Well, they're all audiobooks. So
I'm envious. That's a hack.
I walk a lot.
I should lean into audiobooks.
Yeah, I walk like 2-3 hours a day on average, and listen to audiobooks. So
goodness gracious, wow, gosh, you live such a healthy lifestyle. Goodness gracious,
thanks.
I was, Matt and I wish we could be more like you. Anyways,
I need to get you a shirt that's like sauna, salad, books,
walks.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, that's we're gonna.
Anyways, that's Josh for his birthday. But I think that is my scale, is like taking all of that and putting it into like, I mean, kind of the stuff that we're working on now with like mini apps that are like, they're interactive, but what's really in there is like all this knowledge that's like in all these books and stuff, but condensed into a way that's like easily accessible. Because I think it's actually really hard to do. Like most of the time, if somebody reads a lot, it's kind of the trope of like a boring professor, where it's like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So I think that is my one skill that I've crafted every single day, literally since we all started working together, and even before that. So probably the last 20 years. That is mine. I know what your guys are, but what are they?
Well, mine's just being a nice guy, just being nice people, and just
skill.
trying to figure out how to profit. Which is the opposite of being a nice person. So it's really
wait, that's a great.
It's a really interesting juxtaposition.
How to profit off being a nice guy. Yeah. That's a great.
How to be nice and profit.
That's a great title.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say. No, my real answer is obviously visual and creative stuff and making good interfaces that people want to use. And I've certainly leaned into that for, went to school for it and everything. So we're coming up on almost 2 decades of being very steep in design, whether it's via typography classes or building products. So that's how the 3 of us combine to form a triangle. So what's the other side of that triangle, Matt?
I think if I had to summarize mine, it would be my skill is taking very complex problems and making them appear very simple to like an end user in software or like really in any aspect. I try to take a problem and make it like as simple as possible to the person on the other end and like problem solve. Particularly, most recently, the only application I really use it in is stuff that we do, which is like in product, like software products. But I feel like that is the
Product-minded.
skill I try to hone in other
Yeah.
aspects of my life too, like when other people have problems trying to come up with solutions. Sometimes they aren't wanted. Okay, I've had to learn that. Sometimes people don't want solutions to complex problems if they're personal. I've had to
Like our
learn that.
wives, you know?
Yes,
That's
I've
us,
had to
yeah.
learn that. That's a very I understand. But yeah, that's kind of how I see what I do and what my skill is.
I like I definitely can affirm both of your skills. And stay tuned next week because we will be releasing the first of the manifestations of these skills coming together with our first product drop under the co-founded brand. Should be live by the
Fun.
next
Oh, yay.
episode.
Yeah. So basically, everyone, we're rolling out some new, like we said, some web apps, very simple web apps that have been like rebranded for the modern era, focusing primarily on like search optimization stuff like that. But we found kind of an opportunity that'd be fun to build some things together, and also gives us a chance
See
to
what
play around
clicks.
with some of
Yeah.
that new, like AI engine optimization. There's a lot of fun stuff to play with there.
Just go
And
build
so
stuff. Just trying to build
just helps
stuff.
us exercise and hone our skills. So stay
Skills.
tuned. It'd be really fun every week to give like a little update about if there's things we've learned from it, what's hard, what's working, what's not. Could be interesting to follow the journey and for us to follow along too.
Yeah, that'll be a staple rotating agenda item is what do we learn when we try to build stuff this week? 'Cause you can just
Yeah.
build stuff. That's what's
You can
sick
just
about
build stuff.
AI in the modern age. You can just do
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yep. You can just do stuff. And like, that's what we felt. It was like, hey, we want to build something together again. Guess
Yeah, you
what?
just do
You
it.
just can. You can just do it
just
now.
can,
It's
I know.
very
That's
easy.
great thing about the age we live in. It's sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, we wanted to get our hands back in some building some stuff and pushing it live and kind of like iterating quick. And so we do that day in and day out with our day jobs, each of us, and the projects that we work on for sure. And that's very fulfilling, but it's also really fun to work on something like a little smaller and work the three of us and stuff like that. So
at the end of the day, we're just trying to hang out more, you know?
Really just trying to find an excuse
more
to
just
hang
about
out.
hanging out with the
Real.
dudes. Like, that's what this is. Just trying to find an excuse to talk to each other more. Now we're trying
Did you
to
guys
find an excuse to build stuff together more.
see that headline in Wired a while back? This was before AI, but it was like the cure to male loneliness is B2B SaaS.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
Such a good headline.
I love that.
That's so good. Gosh, well, here we are, So we'll end with that quote because couldn't be more accurate. And we're all trying to solve our male loneliness with the B2B SaaS. Maybe not B2B, but just SaaS or other things. Anyways, excellent conversation today, guys.
Love it.
Love it. And talk more next week.
See y'all next week.
Thanks to all the co-founded heads. Follow, subscribe. See you next week. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.